All right, so my NFL fans, I need y'all to tap in and let's talk about it. Who watched tonight's games between the Chargers and the Texans, and then the Steelers versus the Ravens? Because I watched both games, and let me tell you, the first game, Chargers versus Texans, I didn't know who was going to win that game. I know that the Houston Texans, obviously, they've been going through a lot this season, especially towards like the second half of the season with the injuries and everything. And CJ Stroud just looked like he hit his sophomore slump. Like he did not. He hasn't looked like himself. You know what I mean? Um, but I will say, watching the defense for the Houston Texans, I was like, they came ready to win. They were gritty. They did whatever they needed to do to ensure that they walked away going to the next round. And I was like, that's how you show up in the playoffs. Like, no excuses. Forget what happened in the season. We're back at zero. It doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is who's here today on this field and get into the next round. So I love watching that game. It was so exciting. I was so surprised to see all the interceptions. I was like, what happened to Justin Herbert? Mind you, I've never been like a huge fan of his, but I was just like, this was not his game. And I mean, it's good that I guess, considering how things went the previous seasons, they got back to the playoffs and everything. But I was like, wow, I know this is going to be a long off season for him because I'm sure that he would rather go back and redo this game all over again if he could. Now, on to the Ravens and the Steelers. I am a Lamar Action Jackson fan. For me, it's him and it's Josh Allen, my two faves, right? But I'm always rooting for Russ. I was so rooting for Russ, and I don't know what happened with this Steelers defense, you guys. They came out looking like they just did not want to play, like they didn't want to be there, like they didn't really believe, like there was no energy. It just didn't have any faith. It feels like for me that they were defeated before the game even started. The Ravens did whatever they wanted to do in the first half. They were extremely dominant, and that was to be expected. So I'm thinking, as if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm Arthur Smith, like you have to know who you're going against. Like it didn't seem like there was like any game plan in the first half, and if there was, it seemed like the defense just said, "Hey, whatever, like we're ready to go to Cancun or Cabo or something," because it was just not giving what it was supposed to give you guys. I was like, come on, fight back. Fast forward to the second half. I'm like, okay, they came out. The offense had a bit of a spark. Russ was trying. He did his best, you guys. I don't have anything bad to say about Russ. I know that first half, there was a lot, that he could have done differently, I guess. But we know Russ is older. He's not the Russ of old, so he needs help. And the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers has always been the defense, the defense, the defense. And like the last few weeks, it has been like, what happened? Like what has happened? It feels like when they started losing, like on that losing streak, it just seems like they lost something. Like I don't know what they lost. They lost belief. They lost. I don't know what they lost. It just seems like it never came back together. And although I was rooting for Russ just as an individual because I like Russ, I didn't expect them to win this game, but I expected them to come out with a little more fight that like in the first half at the very least. Like they came out so slow, and then by the time in the second half they tried to pick up the energy and 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 try harder. I feel like it was just too late. Like they could not stop Derrick Henry. They damn sure couldn't stop Lamar. Lamar was just getting wherever he wanted to be. You can tell that they were there on a mission. They were prepared, and they were like, next round. We got one more, two more, three more. Like they're clear about who they are, what they wanted, and where they wanted to go, you guys. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm thinking maybe it's time. I don't want to root for my Tom to get fired, but I'm thinking maybe it's time to move on to a new place, some new spaces, because yeah, it might be time. What do y'all think though if y'all watched it? Let me know in those comments.